everyone, and welcome back. I'm Adrienne Monique Alvarez, the founder of Alma Publishing, and we are speaking with the contributors of Uncensored, Untamed, Unleashed today. Hi, KaKi Lee. How are you?
Hi, Adriana. I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us where you're joining from.
I'm from Perth in Australia, and it's 4 a.m. in the morning right now.
I was going to say, Perth is early right now. I know that for sure. Wow. Okay. So first of all, we're all going to bow to you because none of us can look like this at 4 a.m. and be this perky and smiley and, got it all together. So thank you so much for getting up way before the sun.
Yes, thank you. And I woke up extra early so I can actually be awake.
Nice. Well, the first thing I want to do before we get into your chapter, I want you to tell people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I am a share trader, a podcaster, a coach, and I specifically teach people how to trade on the US stock market and make money in less than 1 hour per week. So that's my specialty. But I'm also a mother of two. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a friend. A whole lot of different things that make me who I am, which I really try to make that clear in my chapter that, we're all, made up of different parts of our lives, not just one thing, which I think most people tend to, think their career is what makes them, but it's, everything that's happened in our lives.
This is so true. This is one of the reasons I love being on your podcast is because honestly, I get bored to tears just talking about business on every single interview. And I think because it's not because I don't love what I do, it's because I have this sense within me, and that's not all there is to me. That's not the whole story, right? Yeah. So it's sort of like eating one food every single day, and then you go, wait, there's a whole buffet here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the title of your chapter is The Nice Good Girl. And when I read that, and also some of the interactions that we've had, this is me, right? This is how I was raised. This was my identity for many years, like at least half of my life, right? So I want you to talk about what was that like? What was the expectation, or what was the role that you sort of fell into? Yeah. Share what that looked like.
Yeah, I think it's growing up from when I was very small. I don't even remember what age. I've always been, oh, KaKi, you're such a good girl. You're so smart. You're so nice. So then it was this expectation that I always had to be nice. Even if I wasn't happy with something, I wouldn't express myself to say that I'm not happy with something. Or I'll have to do it in a very roundabout way. And it actually ended up probably sometimes being a little bit passive aggressive. And, I've realized this now when I look back. But it was because I was just so suppressed that it had to come out some way. So it was always like being there for everyone, all the time. I'll drop everything. One of my friends, I put in the chapter, her husband went missing when he went into labor. I dropped everything. I didn't go to work that day just to be in the labor room with her, cut the umbilical cord. So it was just all those things. I mean, I truly wanted to do that for her, but just that's the extreme, example. But just little things like that I might not want to do, whereas that one I did. But it was just these things that played out in my life where I had to be nice. The expectation is KaKi is nice. KaKi will help me, so I have to go to KaKi. She will fix things for me. And I was a fixer-upper in every aspect of my life. I'll be at work and I'm like the chief pharmacist, and people are like, the photocopier is not working. Right. Okay, cool. But I know how to fix a photocopier. That's the problem.
It is the problem, right? Oh my goodness. I love that you went into this because there is a definite relationship and correlation between being that good, nice girl and fixing everything for everyone on their timing at the drop of a hat right now. How did you find your way out of this nice girl, but also the fixer, the rescuer, the she'll take care of it for me? How did you begin to work your way out of that?
I had to have a major meltdown and a breakdown to then start working through it. And it wasn't even an overnight realization. It took me quite a few years before I really realized that that was what was happening, because I never chose myself first. It was always someone else first. Even in, my relationship with my husband, it was, if I wasn't happy about something, I'll just hold it in and go, oh yeah, it's fine. I just deal with it. It'll be fine. And then it causes a lot of resentment. And then it was just, then I had that major breakdown where I was just crying every night. I didn't even know what was happening. It was when I started doing personal development. And you would think people think that when you start doing personal development, you're like, oh, I'm going to have this positive mindset and, everything's going to be great and everything's going to be better. Well, yes, it does get better. I assure you it does get better. But you usually have this realization and then your whole, your soul just goes, yeah, just let it all out. Let it all out, cry, do whatever you need to do, and then you start the healing. So when I realized, it took a lot of work. It was kind of going, oh, okay. You start reading things going, love yourself, choose yourself. I'm like, oh, I've never actually done that. I've always just, at the drop of a hat, my parents, I love my parents, bless them, but they've had this expectation being, first generation immigrants, that I'm the one that speaks English. I'm the oldest in the family. So I would be there to translate and do, just help them as soon as they need something. Doesn't matter what time of the day where I am. It's like, you need to do this now. And I'm like, okay. So it took me a while, but I started setting boundaries. First, it was energetic kind of boundaries where I went, okay, there's people that I need to distance myself from or disconnect from their energy when it's very, soul sucking. I don't know how another way to put it, but where they're just taking my energy, but I'm the one that's giving them, but they're not really giving back in terms of energetically or even, physically giving back. So I had to first distance myself energetically. And then it was then putting up the, actual boundaries of actually saying, oh, I'm not free. Being okay to say no or saying, oh, I'm not free. That's a, nicer way to put it. But it's just those things that I had to then put up. And, sometimes it's hard. I still struggle sometimes because it's just so ingrained. But I can say that I'm 90% there.
Yes, I hear you. I always say, like, I'm a recovering people pleaser, because you can slip back because it is very deep, right? And it's so practiced, it's mastered. And I like when you said, you hit a crisis when you decide to learn something or grow. It's not necessarily like, whoop, there's a crisis and then a bounce back from that.
Yeah.
And also when you talk about, sometimes it's just a matter of saying, I'm not available or I'm not free. When I began to do this, I began to see how many people were not giving anything. This was not an equal exchange, or there wasn't an exchange at all. When you began to look at the relationships that were draining you the most, did you find that it was challenging because sometimes those were the relationships where you had the most obligation as well?
Yeah, definitely. Because those people tend to play such a big part in your life. or those areas of your life. I mean, work was one of them where I said yes quite a lot, even though I didn't need to. I could have just said no, and I'll just take everything everybody else is on. So there was a lot of expectation, and you can see some people, some relationships do end, or they, start dwindling away, or you're not as close anymore. But that actually now, I think as people grow and change, sometimes they do come back into your life, and it's actually a stronger relationship. So I wouldn't say to anyone that, if you have a relationship that where you've been giving and more than it's reciprocal agreement, to burn bridges and go, oh, you've been like taking everything from me. It's more like just distancing yourself. And people, as they age or as they go through their journey, they'll find that, oh, okay, KaKi's done that, and then they kind of come back to you, and it builds a stronger relationship. So I just want to tell people that, because sometimes people go, oh, I'm just going to break, those relationships because it didn't serve me. But they did serve you. They showed you, they were a mirror to show you that you need to work on yourself. Yeah.
So true. And what I found is, when I was really honest, I was just as responsible for that setup as they were. I played a big role in that. And that's why it existed.
Yes.
Now, I would love for you to talk a little bit about this trading thing that you do. I find this so fascinating. So do you mind, like, how did you get into it? Like, it's just so intriguing for me.
Sure. So my dad is very entrepreneurial. So it's very stereotypical, but I grew up with my dad owning a Chinese restaurant. So, but my dad has always loved trading and just learning. He's a learner. So from a very young age, probably when I was about 18, he said, you need to start share trading. So that's when I actually got into share trading. It was very much buy the stocks, hold it, and sell it when it gets high. So I made money from that. But I think at that age, it didn't really quite gel, or I wasn't really interested, probably because my dad told me to do it.
Right.
But, yeah. So, I mean, I did that throughout. And then I think it got to a point where I just went, I'm not interested anymore. And I stopped trading. And then when I had my second baby, I had this feeling that I wouldn't go back to work. I didn't know what I'll be doing. I just thought that I was in a MLM at that time. So I thought, I'm going to be doing this, and, I have time to do this now. But I remember pulling out this course that I bought probably a year back, that it was about share trading, and specifically what I teach is called covered calls. So I went, I'll just take that out, started my maternity leave and started learning that at that same time. And I remember being in the hospital, I just gave birth, and I'm, at the hospital talking to the coach, doing my trading, my paper trading. And so then I just started doing that particular type of trading. And KaKi, being KaKi, I love learning things and then testing things that my coach tells me not to do, because and then going, all right, that's why they didn't tell me not to do that. So I kind of developed my own little strategies and things that I do. And so that's how I got into trading. And teaching people how to trade, because probably within 6 months, I realized that I've replaced my 6-figure income that I was making working full time. But I was spending like 1 hour per week, maybe not even that. And I was going, oh, this is awesome. Because when people think about trading, it's all about day trading, where you're sitting in front of the computer and you're like pressing refresh and going,
right,
all day when the stock market's open. But what I do is basically I go in, put my trade in, and then I leave. and I don't have to go through that roller coaster of emotions when you're watching the stock market go up, go down, and then I just check my trades every day and go, okay, cool, and wait for it to. There's an expiration date with what I do, so when it expires, I'm like, okay, cool, that's great. Now I can put another trade in. So that's how I got into trading. One thing I find with trading is, I've done quite a few courses and they never talk about working on your mindset. I mean, even with my dad, they don't talk about working on your mindset and being in the right energy. And as I was trading, I can tell you every single time I lost a significant chunk of money. One, I was, testing the waters and doing the KaKi thing. But the other thing was because it was my mindset and my energy that really affected me. I can tell you exactly what was happening in my life and what my energy was like at that time when I lost the money. So it's actually really quite interesting. And then I kind of went, oh, okay, there's this correlation between my success in the stock market and what I was thinking, or what I was putting out energetically at that time. So I thought, oh, okay, maybe it's just me. And then I started finding that all the really good traders out there actually use their intuition and work on their mindset. And that separates them from the amateurs because they really are this person that knows exactly what they're doing. They have the right mindset, and energetically they're not in this fear or greed state, which is really important when you're trading, because I found when I was very greedy, that didn't quite work. Or when I was started getting scared, that didn't quite work either. Even though when you actually do all the analysis, that trade looks great. But something would happen and it kind of goes the other way. So that's how I got into trading. And, when I teach this whole combination of, it's not just a strategy, it's also your mindset and your energy and putting those things together. So yeah, in a nutshell, very long nutshell.
No, and I love how, when you think of trading, it's it's very concrete and financial and numbers and data, but then you bring in this energetic aspect, and I love how you bring these worlds together. It's very cool. So who do you think makes a good trader? Is there a type of person that would be better at this than others?
I don't think so. If you are willing to learn what you need to, in terms of strategy and also in terms of your mindset and energy, if you're willing to learn those things, anyone can trade. I didn't think I'll be someone that would be, trading full time, not full time, but, an hour a week, but you know what I mean? I wouldn't think that I would be doing this because I identified myself as a pharmacist for long, a manager, a pharmacist, whatever you want to, call it. So I would never have thought that I would leave my profession to, be in this profession. I mean, I've got multiple professions now, but, share trading being, really my core. I love it. I love it so much. I can talk about it all day, if you let me. But yeah, anyone can do it if you're willing to learn it. Yeah, but if you have traded before, what I teach, you need to leave that at the door, because you're probably going, what the hell what is she teaching me? Yeah.
I like that. Got to unlearn a few things to do it the KaKi way.
Yeah, that's right.
So where can people learn more about you?
Yeah, sure. So you can find me at my website, which is www.kakilee, KaKilee.com. Or you can find me on Instagram at Abundance with KaKi Lee. Facebook, same handle, at Abundance with KaKi Lee. I'm also on LinkedIn, just my name, you find me, KaKi Lee. And I'm on YouTube as well, and on actually on YouTube is the other one. Yeah. So if you look up KaKi Lee, you'll find me there too.
I'm going to find you all kinds of places.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing your story in Uncensored, Untamed, Unleashed, and for the journey that you've been on. And yeah, it's so amazing to watch somebody's metamorphosis and who they get to become. So thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
that.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. It's been wonderful, and I'm just glad that I managed to share my story.
I know it sounds so exciting and so easy, but sometimes when you get in there and write, you uncover, right,
Yes.
all sorts of things, and it does. It takes a lot of courage to share your story and to publish it publicly. So
Mm.
I want to remind people to pick up their copy of Uncensored, Untamed, Unleashed. It's available on Amazon. And if you're ready to share your story in our next book, I put the link below. Here's to being so much more than the good girl, right? Being your true self. This is actually what I want to end with. You had this line in here. Oh no, I moved my bookmarker. You said something along the lines of, what if there's nothing wrong with you? Just love yourself. What if you didn't need to change? What if there's nothing wrong with you?
Yeah. And there is nothing wrong with you. It's just uncovering you because you've put all these layers that don't need to be there.
So may our children be raised in a world where they know nothing is wrong with them.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Bye.